Hello everyone and welcome to podcast number 2 of this Warcraft 3 series. Today we are going to talk about the third hero choice for Undead when playing versus Orc. And the question is it better to play with Dark Ranger 3rd or with Pitlord 3rd? And my take on this is that Dark Ranger is definitely better, even though Pitlord can be very effective as well. But in my opinion, it requires a stronger control by yourself. In other words, it's not as easy and intuitive to use as the Dark Ranger. Now, let's look at the features of these two heroes. The Dark Ranger allows you to silence a unit, which prevents the unit to cast a spell. So, why you want to pick Dark Ranger? Because you want to be able to silence the Blade Master so he cannot windwalk, or most important, you want to cast it on the Shadow Hunter so he cannot throw the X on your hero, which is terrible because, as you know, what almost all the good orcs do is they cast the X on your Death Knight, then they ensnare it with the Raider, and they focus it down with the Blade Master, and sometimes it happens so fast that you're not even able to TP out of the fight and you lose the Death Knight, and then everything spirals down. So I think that the safest option is always to go for Dark Ranger 3rd, because you can stop the Shadow Hunter from doing this, and even if you can just cast one silence and then your Dark Ranger gets focused down and dies, that's still of value. Whereas if you pick Pitlord 3rd, and again Pitlord 3rd is very good because of the Howl of Terror, because of the damage mitigation that it provides, especially if the Orc doesn't have walkers on the field. It's more risky because let's say that you throw the Howl of Terror, but then your Pitlord gets focused down and dies. Now you were able to use the Howl of Terror only once. So the value that it provided, it's still inferior to the value that the Dark Ranger would have provided in that situation. So again, it's really a subtle difference. It might be or it might not be game deciding, but I feel like the Dark Ranger in the end is more powerful. But of course, if you see that the Orc doesn't have any walker, you could go for a Pitlord 3rd. Or maybe you see that the Orc has good items that really boost the damage output, and you feel like you really want to reduce that, so you can choose Pitlord. But I think that when the Orc is going with the Shadow Hunter 2nd, and it's really boosting the Shadow Hunter, has a lot of mana, can cast as many X's and healing waves as he wants to, you kinda have to go for Dark Ranger. You just have to go for Dark Ranger.